Yes, madam.
Okay. So, first of all, I wish you all a very happy New Year. And sorry for breaking our lectures last few weeks. I hope now you all studied what I have done previously. Any questions? Because you had a long time compared to some long time to study things, because we study basic introduction to microeconomics, and then we discuss the scarcity, opportunity cost, the terms, and some definitions, some principles of economics. Okay, then factors of production. I think these things we discussed during our last few lectures, 4 lectures. Are there any problems? Have you studied? Okay, if you have any problems, we can discuss. So I think still 30 students are there. It's okay, we can continue. Is it okay, others? Hello? We have 29 students. Bandar, is it okay to continue?
No, yes, madam.
Okay, we'll continue. Okay, then today we have a new section. So actually the remaining section we were doing that production possibility curves. So I'll just share the screen. Hope you all can see the screen. Okay, so today we need to study, because production possibility curve, hope you all understood how to draw the production possibility curve, how we derived the curve and all. We were discussing on gains from trade. Okay, here we have some small calculations. Then afterwards we can go to a new section today. Okay, so this is production possibility curve and gains from trade. At the end of this section, you should understand how production possibility curve related with gains from trade, and briefly just to calculate gains from trade by using production possibility curve. Okay, so now we will see production possibility curve, or another name I informed you, production possibility frontier. Okay, and we will see production and consumption without trade, because I told here we are discussing just internal trade. Basically, this production possibility curve we discussed with the international trade as well. But since you are doing microeconomics here, we will discuss about local marketing, the local market, local trade, how production and consumption occur without trade. Okay, so in that case, we will see gains from trade as well. Gains from trade. So the name implies the meaning. Gains means something we are getting from trade. Okay, so that's why producers do trade, just to gain something. Okay, so gains from trade are the net benefit to economic agents from being allowed and increase the voluntary trading with each other. So you know, in the production process, we have to bear costs. Okay, so some production we can produce at lowest cost, but some production, if we produce, it incurred huge cost, massive cost. So that's why if one producer can produce it at lower cost, we can allow that producer to produce, and we can produce the lowest cost production. Then we can exchange. Okay, so that's why briefly or simply we can say gains from trade. Okay, now we will see how to use the production possibility model or production possibility curve or production possibility frontier to analyze the ability to produce goods and services while gaining from trade. Okay? So we know the production possibility curve shows the production choices available in the economy. Let's say we have basic inputs. By using these inputs, how we can produce products. Okay, so I hope you remember how we draw this one. Okay, production efficiency locus or production efficiency points we took. Then we combined all points and we draw this production possibility. Okay, so production possibility curve for a particular producer is basically decided by the factors of production. What are the main factors of production? Very first day we discussed main factors of production. Anybody?
Capital.
Yes, one thing is capital. Very good, Hashini. Another thing?
Land, labor.
Very good. Land, labor. Very good, Kavindu. Land, labor, capital, and last one, combining these all means entrepreneurship. Okay, that means human capital. We can include these both financial capital and human capital. So land, labor, capital, and entrepreneurship. Okay, so that's why a production possibility curve for a particular producer is determined by these factors of production. Whether he has a land, whether he has labor, whether he has capital, financial as well as human capital, then only the production process is going on. And another important thing, the technology. Let's say he has everything, the producer, land, labor, capital, money and all, but he doesn't know how to use the advanced technology. Okay, so if it fulfills these all requirements, let's say land, labor, capital, entrepreneurship, capital, land, labor, capital, and entrepreneurship, and high technology, the producer can produce at lower cost, production, lowest possible cost. Okay, that's why production possibility curve comes. Then, in that case, you may remember we assume two assumptions basically. There are two producers and two products. Okay, because now we need to do some calculations. We'll check new products, trucks and boats. Okay, truck, transport on the ground or on the road, boats on the sea. Okay, so roadway must be operating somewhere on its production possibility curve, or it will be wasting resources or engaging in inefficient production. So if they use best resources to produce these two goods, it is better for this production because the production is two producers, two products are there. So somewhere we have to decide who should be produced. Okay, and what should be produced. Otherwise, it will be wasting resources if they have chosen a wrong production to produce. So a wrong product to produce. Okay, so that's why you may remember this production possibility curve. Here I took for two goods, trucks and boats. And here is the production possibility curve. By using available inputs, these are the amount of trucks can be produced. These are the amount of boats can be produced by using the same resources. Okay. So what you can say about point D? Is it efficient? Point D? Kavindu, point D is efficient or not? Hashani, what's your answer? Harushima? Anybody who can say about what you can say about point D? Pindiniya? Nobody. Is it efficient or not? Gaya? Is it efficient or not? Point D. So here production possibility curve, production possibilities of producing trucks or production possibilities of producing boards. So if the production possibility curve shows in green line, what you can say about point D? Is it efficient? Gaya?
Efficient.
Efficient or inefficient? I'm asking point D. In point D, are these two producers use maximum resources? No. That's why point D is inefficient. You may remember, please read again the production possibility curve. These are efficient points on the curve. C, B, A are the efficient points because we found the efficient locus, then we combine these all and we derived the production possibility curve. Then inside the curve, the points are not efficient because they didn't use maximum resources or maximum factors of production to produce trucks and boats. Now got it? But it's feasible. We can have part of resources to produce trucks and boats here. But it's just wasting resources because we are assuming only two products should be produced. Two producers are there. Then we have to use the resources in a maximum profitable way. Got it? Understood or not? Point D, because it's very important to analyze the production possibility curve. Point D is if inefficient but feasible. Point E, what you can say about point E?
Unfeasible.
Very good. Unfeasible and inefficient also. Not only inefficient, because efficiency we need to see if they can produce. Okay, but point E, we can't produce even because no more resources. Now, very good. Hope you understood. Please discuss with others and make them understand. Okay. So, point E, we can't talk even efficiency because it is not feasible. Point D, feasible but inefficient. Okay. So, these points are only efficient and feasible points. Okay. Now, hope you all understood about the production possibility curve very clearly. Now we need to know, now I think you all know efficient production points, A, B, C, inefficient but feasible point, T, infeasible point is E. Okay. Okay, so the production possibility curve for roadway shows combination of trucks and boats that can produce with the given factors of production and technology. Okay, that's why we should use these factors very carefully without wasting and without inefficient resource allocation, without allocating resources inefficiently. Okay, so to maximize the value of total production, roadway must be operating somewhere along this curve. That's why we took two products here. Okay. Production at point D implies that Broadway is failing to use its resources fully and efficiently. That's why it is feasible but not efficient. Okay. And E, unobtainable. With that knowledge, we will see how opportunity cost relates to this production possibility curve. Now you know opportunity cost. Simply, what is the word for opportunity cost? Foregone cost. So I told, for example, easiest example, you can come to this 4 hours lectures, or you can go and you can work in a, let's say, hotel. Okay, let's say after working in a hotel, you may get 1,000 rupees for 4 hours. Okay, but you came here to study something. Then your foregone cost or opportunity cost is that 1,000 rupees because you have given up this to come for the lecture. Okay, so that's why every time you should remember opportunity cost. There is an opportunity, but we missed that opportunity and we selected our best alternative. That's why you came to the lecture to listen the lecture, to study something. Okay, so we can understand the opportunity cost of producing one good for another good. Okay, last time also we explained about the opportunity cost and production possibility curve, and now we will do some calculations also. Okay, so let's say we need to calculate opportunity cost. Here I denote OC, I denote as opportunity cost for our listeners at point A, B, C. Let's see how you are calculating. Can you try first? Huh? Okay, I'll show one thing. Let's say point C. First take this graph, then we derive only C for your easiness. Okay, so here we take the opportunity cost as 0.5. 8 divided by 4 at the same fixed point. Okay, so at that time, because we are producing here more trucks than the boats. Okay, so that's why the opportunity cost or foregone cost is 0.5. You understood how to take the slope at point C? Hello? Hope you all can hear me. Hello? Bandara?
Yes, madam.
Okay. Then let's say we need to calculate the opportunity cost of point B. We can divide these 2 points. It's very easy to calculate this opportunity cost. Okay. Then you can find out the opportunity cost of point A. Okay. So you calculated now the opportunity cost at 3 points A, B, and C. Okay, so you can understand along the production possibility curve, the opportunity cost of boat production increases. See, here, that is the point you need to understand. Here, from here to here, we are sacrificing of producing trucks. See, gradually decreasing down, and we are increasing of producing boats. Understood that graph? See, from here to here, gradually decreasing of producing trucks. See here, maybe 7, 6, 5, but gradually increasing the production of boats. That's why the opportunity cost of producing trucks is gradually, here see, 0.5, then 1, then 2. That's why it says along the production possibility curve CBA, if we start from C, the upper side, the opportunity cost of board production increases. Got the point with the calculation? If you have any question, please stop me and ask. Okay. So that's why in one graph, I explain all. We calculate the slope, that is the opportunity cost. Then you can see opportunity cost of producing boards are gradually increasing. Okay. So the slope of the production possibility curve at any point is equal to the slope of the line. Okay. So that's why the absolute value of the slope, absolute value, that means here it comes as minus. But we need to take the absolute values without the plus or minus equals the opportunity cost of increased board production. Foregone cost is gradually increasing. So moving down and from the right along its production possibility curve, the opportunity cost of board production increases. Okay. So this is the application of law of increasing opportunity cost. So if somebody asks what is law of increasing opportunity cost, you can just draw this type of production possibility curve and calculate the opportunity cost point C, B, and A. Then you can write gradually the opportunity cost is increasing. So it is called as law of increasing opportunity cost. Hope you got a slight idea on this, isn't it? Okay, now briefly I discussed this and now we will move to demand and supply because the remaining portion of the lectures we stopped before. I just stopped before the last section. I had to cover some few calculations. That's why I just did it. So here I think you understood about this opportunity cost and how to calculate the slope and what are the gains from trade. Okay. So how to calculate these gains by using the opportunity cost. I think this all you understood. Shall we move to the demand and supply new section? Let me to share that one as well. But meantime, if you have any problem, please ask. Hope you all can see the screen. Demand and supply. First, we will see about demand. Your next section of the syllabus, section 2, demand and supply. Can you see the screen, everybody?
Yes, madam.
Okay, thank you. So, at the end of this section, you will be able to understand law of demand, demand curve, market demand versus individual demand, and shifting demand curve. Okay, and you need to explain what are the factors affecting demand. For any case, you know, many factors affecting the demand. Okay, so you need to understand these factors and you need to understand what is demand schedule and what is demand equation, how to present it graphically. Okay, let's see these all in next hours. Okay, so what are the main market forces? If I ask a question, what are the main market forces? You need to answer that these are demand and supply. Consumers are demanding, producers are producing according. Okay, so briefly you can say this is demand and supply. Okay, so here this is briefly the way of drawing the demand curve. I'll explain with the law of demand and law of supply how to derive these two lines. Before that, just to take an idea, the supply is increasing with the price. When price is increasing, supply is increasing. Why? Producers need high profits. When the product price is increasing, producers are tend to produce more and more. That's why supply curve is going upward or positive relationship with price. But see the demand. If you go to the shop, if it says the shirt price is 1,000 rupees, you may not buy. If it says 500, you will consider to buy. If it says 200, obviously you will buy. Okay, so likewise, if the price is more, consumers' demand is low. Okay, so see, high prices, demand only here 40. Let's say quantity in kilogram, price in dollars, some product. When it's $4, the quantity is 40 kilograms. But when it is 3, quantity is 65. When it is 2, the quantity is near 100. Okay, so that's why when price is decreasing, the quantity demanded is increasing. But when the price is increasing, the quantity supplied also increasing. Okay, with that basic knowledge, we will see the basic concept of demand. Okay, so demand is the desire, willingness, and ability to buy a good or service. Maybe a good, maybe a service. Good means maybe you produce your different products, maybe potato, tomato, or any other product, or service. You are getting education service, you are getting extension service, you are getting medicine service, medical service. Okay, so these all are services. Even transport is a service. Okay, so demand is that desire, willingness, or ability to buy a good or service. If you have the ability to go to take medicine, that's a service. If you have ability and willingness and desire to take 1,000 kilos of potato, it's a demand. Okay? So based on that definition, which of your following do you have demanded for? Maybe you like ladies may demanded these shoes. Okay, maybe some boys demanded this phone. Okay, maybe some boys or girls demanded this car. Okay, so some may in Hungary they may demand these fruits and vegetables. Okay, so some may demand this house. So, but not only demand, you have to have not only desire. You may like to buy a house. You may like to buy a pair of shoes. You may like to buy this phone. You may like to buy these fruits and vegetables. You may like to buy this car. But your desire is not enough. You have to have the ability. If you don't have money for that, you can't buy. Okay, so that's why demand means not only desire, your willingness, you should have the ability or financial power to take this product. Okay, so that's why demand means willingness plus ability. Okay, so maybe a person may have the ability to buy something. You have money, of course, to purchase this very good house, but you may not have the willingness. You don't like. You have the ability, of course, you have money, but you don't like. But on the other way, one person have the willingness. Let's say one of your friends is like to buy that car, but not have the ability because he or she doesn't have enough money for that. Okay, so that's why demand means both willingness as well as the ability. Up to here, did you get the point? That's very normal situation. If you like only, that's not enough. You should have money or your ability of buying things or taking things is the demand. Okay, so quantity demanded, it implies the quantity that a person demanded. Quantity demanded is the amount or maybe number of units of a product that a household would buy in a given time period at the current market prices. So normally, I'm not asking definitions, but you need to understand 3 points. This quantity demand should consider given time period at given price. Okay, you should take the idea only. Now we will see demand schedule. That is nothing but just a table. Okay, that lists the various quantities of product or service that someone is willing to buy over a range of possible prices. We will see this one, demand schedule. Let's say prices per fish bun, here quantity demanded. Okay, so you can see when prices are high, quantity demand is low. When price is gradually decreasing, the quantity demand is gradually increasing. That means inverse relationship between price and quantity demanded. Clear up to now? That is demand schedule, price and the quantity demand. Okay, it varies with the type of the product. Here fish bun and the price of fish bun and the quantity demanded for that fish bun. Demand schedule, we have some assumptions. As price rises, quantity demanded declines. Quantity demanded has a specific time dimension. All the products involved are identical in shape, size, as well as quality, basically. Okay. Then, if we draw the demand curve based on this demand schedule, you can clearly identify what is the vertical axis and what is the horizontal axis. Vertical axis means X or Y. Vertical axis. When you draw a graph, you have to draw 2 axes, vertical and horizontal. Vertical axis means, let me see one chat box on message. Vertical axis.
Y.
Yes, very good. Y. Okay. So vertical axis is Y, horizontal axis is X. Okay. So some students send chat messages, some are wrong, some are correct. So vertical axis means Y axis, horizontal axis means X axis. Okay. So each point on the graph, I will show the graph, how many units of the product or service an individual will buy at a particular price. Okay, so that therefore demand curve is the line that connects these points. Okay. So here, I don't know whether the graph is clear to you all. The same demand schedule I took, price per fish bun and quantity demanded for fish bun. So you can see gradually it's decreasing. Okay, so this is demand curve. Though we call it as curve, normally we draw it as a straight line. But if we take real case scenario, real prices and real quantity demanded, you can have the curve. Okay, So here you can say each price, let's say this quantity demanded here and here the price. So we can demarcate clearly at what price, what quantity is demanding. They may have different points here, different prices, different quantities. But you should understand at higher prices, low quantity demanded, when price is decreasing gradually, the quantity demand is increasing gradually. Okay, so that's the main thing you need to understand here. So the demand curve is the graphical representation of the law of demand. Now we will move the law of demand. The demand curve slopes downward and to the right. You may have seen the graph. Then the price goes up, the quantity demanded goes down. Okay, by seeing the demand curve, you can write this on. Okay. So if we take the demand schedule and demand curve in one line, you can see how this demand schedule correlates with the demand curve. Okay, so see, we will take the points and we have to combine these points. Okay, hope you all understood up to now. Very easy. If we know the demand schedule, we need to draw in these two axes. Normally price is taking to the y-axis or vertical axis, and quantity demanded is taking to the x-axis or horizontal axis. Then based on these values, we can put related to the price what is the quantity demanded. See, then we can draw this demand curve. So when we see again price of ice cream cone here, I took quantity of ice cream cone. So see, gradually when price is decreasing, the quantity is increasing. Okay. So I took small examples just to make you more clear about the demand curve and the demand schedule. Let's say price of ice cream cone reduces from 200 to 150. Then you can see the quantity demanded of ice cream increases from 4 to 6, 4 ice creams to 6 ice creams. Okay, so that's why law of demand says the quantity demanded of a good falls when the price of the good rises and vice versa. That means price of good rises, the quantity demanded falls. Okay, or quantity demanded rises when the price falls. Accordingly, we can draw the driver. So that's why law of demand says all factors are unchanged, because you know quantity demand, the quantity demanded is affected by many factors, not only price. Maybe consumers' choice, consumers' preference, consumers' age. We are discussing these factors later on. Okay, but we need to see the law of demand when the relationship between price and quantity demanded while keeping other factors constant. Okay, when we have a chance to come physically, I draw the factors and how we keep these factors constant and how we draw the diagram between only the price and the quantity demanded. So the law of demand says there is an inverse relationship between price and quantity demanded. Okay, so quantity demanded rises, price falls, but every time you need to remember other things are constant. Then quantity demanded falls when price rises. Every time opposite direction. Okay. So another point comes here, provided all other factors unchanged. See here, when law of demand says all factors constant. So there is a term, the quantity demanded of consumer goods. Let's say ice cream. It depends on price of the ice cream, price of other related goods, not only ice cream, maybe chocolate, maybe not ice cream, cones, that lollipops, or any other ice products, okay, or consumer income, consumer taste, consumer expectation, and how many buyers, how many consumers are there. So everything is determined by this quantity demand. But here we need to consider these all factors constant, and we keep only changing the price. If we take all these factors, some factors may be correlated each other, then we can't take the clear picture of the law of demand. How the quantity demanded changes with the price change. Okay, so that's why we are keeping all other factors constant, and we see only the change of price and change of quantity demanded. That's why the law of demand says quantity demanded of a particular good is inversely related to its price, provided all other factors are unchanged. Okay, so when I ask what is law of demand, you have to write there's an inverse relationship between price and the quantity demanded, but we have to keep other factors constant. Consumer income is constant, consumer taste is constant, expectations are not changed, number of buyers are not changed. Only in that case we can see the price and the quantity demanded in law of demand. Okay, then new term comes ceteris paribus. So ceteris paribus means normally holding all other things constant. In law of demand, you may remember we kept all other factors constant, and we see the change of price and the quantity demand. Okay, so that is called as ceteris paribus, that is Latin phrase. So one reason of this slope downward is due to diminishing marginal utility. I think you remember we discussed about the utility. Did you remember? Huh? When we discussed about basic terms of microeconomics, we discussed about the utility and satisfaction. Then diminishing marginal utility also we discussed. When you are in very thirsty situation, you may have one glass of water, very, very thirsty, and your satisfaction of your utility is very high. But when gradually it is increasing, your utility is gradually decreasing because you are not thirsty now. That's why diminishing marginal utility. Okay? So, but here also there are some assumptions. Law of demand, because normally we consider other factors remain constant, but normally in this situation, other factors are not constant always. Okay, so we have to consider that also. We assume other factors are constant. We see only the change of the price and quantity demanded. The demand for commodity or service not only depends on its price. We explained it depends on other factors as well. But here we assume the demand for commodity is only depends on its price. First one, we keep all factors unchanged, but it's not true. Second one, we think only price is changing, but it's not true. So in the law of demand, other factors are assumed to remain constant, while only the price of the commodity changes. Okay, we are assuming that. So these are the main determinants of household demand: price of the product, income, other accumulated wealth, gold or something. Okay, he or she may demand more and more. If he has more accumulated wealth, then the prices of related goods, related products. Now we are discussing these related products. Sometimes may be complementary goods, sometimes may be substitutes. Okay, so we are discussing this afterwards. Then the household's taste and preferences. Based on their taste and preferences, they buy things. If they don't like, they will not buy. Okay. So households' expectation about future income and wealth. So these are the main determinants of household demand. So, but sometimes the change of the demand curve, here it should come somewhat here. Okay. So I have to draw this line somewhat here. I think you can understand. This line should touch this. It should come little by here. When I am just forwarding, I will make it correct. So change in the quantity demanded due to a price change occurs along the demand curve. See, price is increasing here. From here, the quantity demand is this much. Let's say for 4.5. Price is 53. When price increases to 54, the quantity demanded decreases to 2.4 something from 4.4. Okay. So see inverse relationship. That is change in the demand curve. So you can remember easily what are the factors, or demand curve can also shift in response to following factors. These factors you can remember the way I understood. Bitter, B-I-T-E-R, not butter. Okay, butter B-U-T-T. Here bitter you can remember bitter, bitterest. Okay. B means buyer, I income, T taste, E expectations and related goods. Okay, so same as determinants, but here I think it's easy for you to remember. Many factors are there. At least here you can remember 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 factors that contribute to shift in the demand curve. We'll see one by one. Prices of other goods. Let's say price of substitute. Let's say instead of butter, we use margarine. When the price of substitute good falls, demand falls for the good whose price has not changed. Okay, then substitute means we can go if more price of that substitute, if butter is more valuable, we can go for margarine. Okay, so likewise, we can select the cheaper product. When the price of complementary goods, let's say socks and shoes, ink and pen, toothpaste, and we can say toothbrush, but we can use toothbrush without having toothpaste even. Okay, so anyway, complementary goods are there. How we should use these goods together. So when the price of a complementary good falls, demand rises for the good whose price has not changed. Okay, so here you need to remember complementary and substitute goods. See, Pepsi and Coca-Cola. Substitutes. Instead of Coca-Cola, we can take Pepsi. Complementary. Here, toothpaste and toothbrush. Okay, so complementary goods means that goes with another good every time. Okay, petrol and car, tennis ball, tennis racket, mobile phone, SIM cards. You are more familiar with these. Okay, so these all are complementary goods. inverse relationship between the price of one and the demand for another. Okay. Then you can say more and more examples, and you can draw this type of diagram in these substitutes and complementary goods. See, price and quantity. You can see price of one product and quantity of other product. Let's say price of A, if A and B are complementary goods. Let's say pen and ink, pen and ink. So when price of A is high, quantity demanded for another product also low when price is high, because no need to go this product, that is complementary. That's why inverse relationship between complementary goods. Okay, high price, low quantity demanded, two products. But substitutes, if price of A is high, we can demand more and more B. If Coca-Cola price is high, we can demand more and more Pepsi. If butter price is high, we can demand more and more margarine. Now clear the effect of complementary goods and substitutes? Hello?
Yes, madam.
Okay, thank you. If you have any problem, please ask, okay? And motor bicycle and helmet, both are complementary goods. Okay? Okay, so normal goods, and now you can have an idea about complementary goods and substitutes. But now we will see normal goods and inferior goods. Normal goods means goods for which demand goes up when income is higher. Demand goes down when income is lower. Okay, that is normal goods. But inferior goods means normally goods for which demand falls when income rises. Inferior, you should remember this good, okay? When your income rises, you have better income, their demand falls. Let's say grocery products, normally instant noodles, who ate instant noodles, but they will not go for that when their income rises. When income increasing, they will go for another biryani or something, not instant noodles. Okay. So I think now you have a clear idea of normal good and inferior goods. Normal goods, when income increases, the demand for that good also increases. But given goods, given also one type of inferior good. Inferior goods, when income rises, inferior good demand decreases. See, normal goods, inferior goods. Normally bicycle, car is the normal good. But inferior good, when income rises, people will not take push bicycles, they will take a car. Okay. So now we will see shift in demand curve. Okay. So another thing, consumer income. We are discussing one by one points. So income increases, demand for normal good also increases. When income increases, demand for inferior good decreases. Okay. So I just gave small examples also for you to understand. Then as we explain price of related goods, substitutes and complementary goods. So here you can say substitutes. If one price is increasing, other demand is increasing in substitutes. If no Coke, we have Pepsi. If no tea, we have coffee. Okay. Perfect substitution means tea, coffee, butter, margarine, Fanta, maybe cream soda, Anchor, Highland butter. Okay, so anything, perfect substitutes. So we can go sugar or jaggery. Okay, so we can go for other product if we don't like, if the price of particular product is high, the demand for other product is high. When the price is high, the demand for other product is high means they are substitutes. When the price is high, when the demand of other product is low means they are complementary goods. Okay. So now we will see the summary here. A change in demand is not the same as change in the quantity demand. Here you can say, here price is increasing, quantity is decreasing, but not in the same way. Okay, so you can see the distance in this graph. In this example, you can see higher price causes lower quantity demand, because this line goes like that way, sloping down. Okay, so changes in determinants of demand other than price cause a change in demand, or shift of entire demand curve from DA to DB. Okay, so normally along the curve, price changes, but if price, except price, other factors are changing means demand curve shift to here to here. Okay, so demand change means it can be changed along the curve, or it can be shifted from one place to another place. Okay, so that's why changes in any factors other than price cause the demand curve shift either left or right. Okay, so a decrease in demand shift to the left, that means less demanded at less prices. Or increase in demand shift to the right, more demanded at each price. Okay, so these are the basic changes we can observe. Then we need to see, as we explained earlier, the demand shift. That means demand shift to right means demand increases. See, before quantity demanded Q1, Q0, but after shifting from here to here, it demanded more. That means demand increases. Okay. So as a summary, we can say change in price of a good or service leads to change in quantity demanded. That means moving along the demand curve. But other factors, maybe income, preferences, or prices of other goods or services lead to shift the demand curve. Okay, so if we consider the price only, the change is along the curve. But if we consider other factors except price, it shifts from one place to other place. Okay, so this is the impact of change in income. High income decreases the demand of an inferior good. Now we discuss this one. And high income increases the demand for normal goods. See, increases the demand, normal good, decreases the demand for inferior good. So then you can see the related goods, complementary and other substitutes. In complementary goods, you can see shift left. Demand is reducing when price increasing. But substitutes shift right. Then price of one good is high. The demand for other good also high. Okay. So if we draw the change in quantity demanded, movement along the curve, it's easy for you to understand. A to B, prices are increasing, you can see, but quantity demanded is decreasing from 200 to 100. But price is increasing from $1 to $2. Okay, so here you can understand this concept. And while shifting, you can draw a shift in the demand curve like that. From a right shift or left shift, both can be occurred. You may remember the substitutes and complementary effects. Okay. So here, if we take this all together, this is the demand changing, price is decreasing, but quantity demanded is expanding, gradually increasing. Here, other way, contraction. That means quantity demanded decreasing, price is increasing. When we consider the shift, that is changes along the demand curve, but we consider shift of the demand curve, you can see right shift or left shift. Okay. But these all we explain related to law of demand. But some cases are there, it goes opposite to the law of demand. Okay, you have to understand two things. It poses as Veblen effect and Giffen goods. Okay, I don't know whether new names are coming to you. If you can't understand, please raise your hand. Okay, still I didn't see any chats. Hope you all understood. Because this is very interesting part. If you know how to draw diagrams, it's very easy for you to explain things. Okay. So substitute effect, you know, for normal goods, law of demand varies or not true in case of Veblen and Giffen goods. Now we will see what is Veblen effect and what are Giffen goods. Okay. So Veblen effect means demand increases when the price increases due to its exclusive nature. For example, when price is increasing, demand also increasing because exclusive nature. Gold, we can say, example, gold. If we consider the high price, means we think the quality is high in gold. Okay. So Veblen good explains when price increases, demand also increases. Okay. We can explain this very clearly. Veblen goods are luxury goods that result in a demand increases due to price increase. When price increase, we will go away from the product. But Veblen effect says some luxurious products. When prices are increasing, the demand also increases. But it is contradictory to the law of demand. Law of demand says when price increases, quantity demanded decreases. Inverse relationship. Okay. So Veblen effect is very clear with this diagram. Veblen goods demand increases with increase in price. As consumers think these goods reflect posh lifestyle. Okay, by your own words. Basically luxurious products. That's why Veblen effect occurs. Then Giffen goods, also another would go away from the law of demand. A Giffen good is a low-income, non-luxurious product for which demand increases as the price increases. Okay. So Giffen good has an upward sloping demand, and Giffen goods have very little or no substitutes. Let's say wheat, potato, rice. Okay. So the difference between Giffen goods and here we discussed about that Veblen goods. Here luxurious goods, but Giffen goods are not luxurious, but the same way demand increases when price increases. Okay. So I'll just give you a small homework. Let's say here two goods, good X and good Y. These are income curves. Here income increases from I1 to I2 here. Carefully observe the situation and decide which good X or Y is normal good or which good is inferior good. Now take 2 or 3 minutes to decide. See here, just first understand the graph clearly. Here the budget line or cost curve. Here the income. Here again the cost curve DC2 and here is the income. So two income places. When income increases, think what happened to good X, what happened to good Y. We will see who will answer first. You can write your answer in the chat box. Which good is normal, which good is inferior out of X and Y. See carefully about what happened to the quantity demanded when income increases from I1 to I2. What is the normal good? What is the inferior good? One answer came. I will see. Okay, not answer. Can you ask the question again? Okay. My question is, here there are two goods, X and Y. What is the normal good and what is the inferior good? Because here I explain inferior goods means demand is decreasing when income increases. But normal good, demand is increases when income increases, positive relationship. But inferior goods, you can see when income increases, the demand decreases. So you need to identify what is normal good and what is inferior good. Hope you understood now. See which goods demand is increasing when income increases, that is normal good. See which goods demand is decreasing when income increases, that is inferior good. No any answer yet. Very good. One answer came. We'll see other answers. Sahasna or Sahasna Madanayaka. Yes, your answer is correct. Sahasna's answer is correct, but we'll see others' answers. If you didn't understand, please tell me that as well. Anjali. No, Anjali, I'm asking out of X because there are two goods, X and Y. Yes, Hashini's answer correct. Hashani Kumaranayaka is correct. Anjali, think about two goods, good X and good Y. You need to select normal good and inferior good. If you can select normal good, it's okay. Then you know other is inferior. What is the normal good? X or Y? Two students gave correct answer out of 32. Yes, Kavindu's answer also correct. Yes, Hemachandra's answer also correct. Okay, now I think many got answers. Yes, very good. So, good Y is the normal good. Okay, Hemachandra, Kavindu, and Hashani, and first Sahasna. So they explained very well. Okay, they understood very well. Others also can ask from them. So here you can see if we take good X, what happens? See, in good X, when the income is I1, the quantity demanded is Y1. But when income increases to I2, quantity demanded also increases to Y2. Then it's very clear Y is the normal good. But see here X. When income, previous income, the demand for X, demand for good X is X1. But when income increases to I2, demand decreases from Y1, X1 to X2. Here demand is decreasing, here demand is increasing. Therefore, good X is the inferior good. Good Y is the normal good. Here's the explanation. Okay, I think you can see this explanation. Good Y is a normal good since the amount purchased increases from Y1 to Y2 as the budget constraints shift from BC1 to higher income BC2. Budget constraints also I will teach you more in future lectures. Good X is an inferior good because the amount of product purchase is decreased from X1 to X2 when income increases. Now hope others also understood. Okay. If not, please ask from these students who gave the correct answer. Okay. Now we will see the given good. That is also a special type of inferior good that exists that go against or disobey the law of demand. When the price of given good increases, the demand for that good also increases. We observe the demand curve would slope upward, indicating positive elasticity. Elasticity I will teach you next sessions, then you will understand. Okay. So here also you can see the same. In these different goods, when demand is increasing from here to here, price is increasing from P1 to P2, supply is unchanged. Okay. Here you can see when price increases, demand also increases. Demand shift from here to here. Then let's say here demand is this much, here demand is this much. Okay. If under price P1, the demand is Q1, but when the price rises to P2, the demand also rises to Q2. Okay, that is inferior good. So that given here we discussed about given goods, one type of inferior good, because here we explain inferior good also when income increases, the amount of purchasing is decreases. But here in the given good type of inferior good, but in the case of given good, the price is increases, the demand also increases. Price of a particular good. Okay. So here you can observe it more clearly. This was found by the famous scientists in 19th century after seeing the rise of the price of bread. Okay. Then he observed that the poor people forced to reduce their consumption of meat and expensive items, eggs, I think, eggs and other things. They consider bread being still the cheapest food, so they started consuming more and more of it, even though the price is rising. So that's why this phenomena is called as Giffen's paradox, because this phenomena is found by the Giffen. Then the product also named as Giffen good, and the scenario also named as the Giffen paradox. Okay, so in Giffen paradox says the price of a given good increases, the demand for that good also increases. Okay, now the one by one factors we are discussing. Next factor is income. Okay, an increase in income will increase demand for normal good, as we know. An increase in income will decrease the demand for inferior good. Okay, now you have the clear picture. Okay, taste and preferences also affect the demand. Many of you may love to go to Pizza Hut. Okay, your taste is there. A change in taste will change demand with no change in price. Okay, though it's very high price, pizza, you know, very high price products, but your taste is more than that. Due to that, you are going for that at any cost. Okay, maybe another products PNS products, okay, and these type of unique products are there. Some people may love to eat these products, okay. So another one, expectations. Some people have expect that future income will rise. They can consume more and more. If you expect prices to fall in the future, you may put off purchase today, or you may reduce purchasing because you are expecting low income in future. Then taxes and subsidies also. Taxes normally increase the cost of goods to consumers, thereby reducing demand. Sometimes import taxes are there while reducing the import, and subsidies should be given for the opposite effect. That means if the situation is good for the society, subsidies are given to promote the production. But if the production is low and we are importing things, taxes are okay. So that's why normally these are other factors. Then we will see finally individual. Now you know the demand curve, but market demand curve comes from these individual demand curves. That means market demand curve is the horizontal sum of all individual demand curves. This is determined by adding the individual. Let's say one by one of your demand. If we add these demands, it comes the overall market. Okay. We can draw this as well. See with the figures. Different people are there. So I use foreign names. Kathy, Bruce, Alice. So there are individual demand curves we can draw. And the market demand is the summation of these all. Okay. Okay. Then we'll finally move to the demand function. Demand is the function of many factors as we explained. Quantity demanded is the function of price of other goods, complementary and substitutes, consumer taste, consumer income, many more. Okay. But while stating the law of demand, we keep all factors constant and we see quantity demanded is the function of price. Okay. Now this section is over. Shall we take a small break of 10 minutes and we'll start supply? Are you okay?
Okay, madam.
Okay.
Okay, madam.
Okay. Just stay and we'll start within 10 minutes. So meantime, please read. And if you have any problems in demand, because demand and supply are same on the opposite directions. Okay. So if you understood the demand section, it will be easy for you to understand the supply section. Okay. We'll have only 10 minutes break and start again. Hello, shall we start? Hello. Hello, shall we start now? Okay. Hope you all are here. Now 29 are there. Okay. So now we need to move the supply as well as demand and supply equilibrium. Now you know what is demand, how demand schedule we draw, how demand curve we do. Okay, so these all you know how the demand curve shifted, what are the factors affecting demand. Okay, then how to differentiate normal, inferior goods, how to differentiate substitute and complementary goods. I think now you have a basic idea on this. Okay. Now let us move to supply as well as demand and supply. We will take both and we will see the equilibrium. Okay. So at the end of this section, you need to understand the same law of demand. You need to understand law of supply, supply curve, market supply versus individual supply, shifting supply, and another again to explain factors affecting to supply. We learned what are the factors affecting to demand. So likewise, we need to understand what are the factors affecting to supply and the supply schedule and supply equation as well as graphical presentation of supply. Okay. So then finally, you need to understand the demand and supply equilibrium. Okay, I think these all points are clear to you all. These are the intended learning outcomes. Okay, so let's move one by one now, just to go your intended learning outcomes. So here you can see clearly what is supply. Okay, supply refers to the various quantities of goods or services that producers, just changing the words, before consumers, now producers, are willing to sell at all possible market prices. Okay, supply can refer to the output of one producer or to the total output to all producers in the market. That means market supply. Okay, so here also again we can explain producers should desire willingness and ability to supply. Okay, here I missed to mention that point, but from the demand you can take that point to the supply. Even though the supplier has desire, willingness, if he is not able to supply, that means his financial constraints or maybe other constraints, he may not able to produce things. Okay, so the same way you can derive the supply as well. Okay, so quantity supplied same as quantity demanded is the amount of goods that sellers are willing and able to sell. Okay, so these 2 points are very important. Okay, willing means or desire, they like, but they should be able to sell. Then supply is a full description of how the quantity supply of a commodity responds to changes in its prices. Okay, so this is the supply schedule, same as demand schedule. What is the difference? See, price is decreasing, quantity supplied also decreasing. Only that change. Vice versa to the demand, just opposite direction to the demand. Okay. So the supply schedule can be shown as points on the graph, as we show in the demand schedule, demand curve. Okay. So that the graph lists the prices of the vertical axis, that means y-axis, and quantities supplied on the horizontal axis. Okay, so same as the demand curve. Each point on the graph shows how many units of the product or service a producer or maybe a group of producers would willing to sell at particular prices. So supply curve is the line that connects these points. Same as the demand curve. If you understood demand efficiently, it's very easy for you to understand the supply. See, only change is the direction. You should remember when you draw graphs, first of all, you should draw the lines X and Y. Then you need to label with units. Okay? And here also label with units. Then only you can take full marks for your graphs. Okay? Then we will move to law of supply. Because you know, price for particular good increases, the demand for particular good, so supply of that good also increases. This opposite direction of the demand. Okay? As the price falls, quantity supplied also falls. But quantity demanded rises. You should remember very clearly these 2 points. Then we'll move to law of supply. That means producers will normally offer more for sale at higher prices and less at lower prices. Okay? So the reason slopes upward because high costs. Due to cost and to gain more and more profits, it moves upward. Producers purchase resources and use them to produce output, we know. So they have to consider costs and profit as well. Okay, now we will see the changes in the supply as we see changes in the demand. Carefully examine this curve. Okay, you can see when prices reduce from here to here, you can see clearly the quantity supplied also decreased from 6 to 4. Okay, here the price decreased from 53 to 52. Same way, same direction, the quantity supplied also decreased from 6 to 4. Okay, then you can understand the way of drawing this. Then supply curves can also shift in response to the following factors. These are the factors affecting supply. For your listeners, you can remember as Stoner. Okay, at least you may remember 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 points. Subsidies and taxes, technology, other goods, number of sellers, before we discuss number of consumers, now number of sellers, expectations, and resource costs. So these all you should remember. These are the determinants of supply or factors affecting the supply. Then we will move to law of supply. The law of supply states that the quantity supplied of a good rises when the price of the particular good rises, and vice versa. The same thing, ceteris paribus. All other factors affect suppliers' decisions are unchanged. That means affect supply in particular are unchanged because many factors are affecting. As we explained in this model. See, many factors schedule. So you remember many factors we list out. See here, Stoner. So these factors, all factors may change the supply. Subsidies, technology, number of sales. But here we discussed only one factor, price and quantity supplied, while keeping all other factors constant or unchanged. Okay. So this is the graphical presentation of law of supply. If price increases, quantity supply increases. Therefore, law of supply states there's a positive relationship. Law of demand, we say there's a negative relationship. But here, it has a positive relationship. Okay, so that means you can understand supply curves typically have a positive slope. Okay, you can understand these points very clearly. So these are the determinants of supply. Price, cost of producing goods, price of required inputs because we need labor, capital, land, all factors of production, and technologies, as well as prices of related goods. Okay, so the same way we can see change in supply when the supply shifted from SA to SB. So you can see price increases, supply shifted, quantity supplied also increased. So a change in supply is not the same as a change in quantity supplied. You can understand clearly. Higher price causes higher quantity supplied and move along the, here it should be supply curve. Okay, because here we consider the supply. First is A along the supply curve. I'll change that one. And a change of supply due to the change of prices. Price increased and quantity supplied increased. So in this example, you can say changes in determinants of supply other than price cause increase in supply or shift from SA to SB. Okay, so these all you can just compare with the demand change. So the same as demand change, the supply changes if in any of the factors other than the price cause supply curve to shift. Decrease in production if less price. Increase in production if increase at higher price. Okay, so here you can say when the supply shift to the right, that means supply increases. You can see with the amount. See, at the SA P0 level, the quantity supplied is Q0A. But here you can say supply curve shifted to the right. Then the same P0, the quantity supplied increased up to Q0B, Q0A to Q0B. Okay, so here also you can see at price 1, P1, in supply SA, the quantity demanded is Q1A. When supply curve shifted to the right at same price, the supply is more than increased up to Q1B. Okay, then you can understand price is increased from P1 to P0 to P1. Quantity demanded has increased to Q0A to Q1B. Okay, so I think with the graph you can understand. So to summarize, we can say a change in price of a good or service leads to change in quantity supplied. That means moving along the curve. But here, other than price, other factors will be cost, input prices, technology, prices of related goods and services. Here again, I didn't explain about complementary and substitutes. Okay, so related goods and services leads to shift the supply curve. Okay, so normally we if we see one person supply schedule, because we need to see individual supply as well as market supply. Here you can see price of ice cream and quantity of corn supplied, not demanded. So this is the supply curve, though it's a straight line. 2 to 2.5 US dollars causes in each and every point the supply increased from 3 to 4 ice cream cones. Okay, so with the graph you can understand very clearly. Then if we consider the market supply and individual supplies, here you can see two people, Ben and Jerry. Price of ice cream cones are there. Ben supplied, let's say these are the two product producers, Ben and Jerry. So the market supply is the combination of these two products. We are assuming only two producers are there. If there are million producers, millions supply curves should add. Okay, so that's why at zero price, 0.5, 0. When the price of ice cream is $1, Ben produces 1, Jerry no production, then equation is 1 in the market supply. Accordingly, 2, 2, 3, 4. So accordingly, you can understand their situation gradually increasing with different proportions. When price is increasing, Ben's and Jerry's individual supply is increasing. Therefore, market supply also increasing. That's what you need to understand by seeing this table. Then the same way we can draw the market supply and individual supply. Let's say individual Ben and Jerry's supply curves we have drawn and the market supply we have drawn accordingly. Okay. So when we consider shift in supply curve, I think this graph is clear to you all because it's very simple and easy to understand. That's why I didn't spend more time on this individual supply curves plus the total supply, Ben, Jerry, and market supply. Okay. So when we consider shift in supply curves, so you should remember there are many causes or reasons. Okay. So let's say supply curve, first supply curve is S1, then increase the supply to S2, then decrease supply to S3. So 3 situations. Okay. Then we can see that means here I want to say supply can be increased or decreased, both. Okay. Then supply shift. This is the supply schedule at different prices. What is quantity supplied? Then see before and after. So first, second, third, fourth, the ice cream cones cost they have given with the prices, they could show how it varies the supply. Okay. Anything that reduces production cost, shift supply curve right. Because if it reduces the production cost means producer tend to produce more and more. Okay. So that's why production increases tend to shift right. So the shift in the supply curve cause changes of the input prices, technology, number of sellers in short run. So these are the other factors other than price. So the market supply will shift left. That means low production. The market supply will shift right means more production. So if market supply shift right means more and more production, then raw materials and labor becomes cheaper. That's why we are producing more and more. The technology becomes more efficient. That's why we are producing more. Okay, more sellers in the market. So these are positive points. More supply. Okay. So here you can see the same way we discussed in demand curve, expansion, contraction, and shifting. So change may be along the curve, it may be contraction or expansion. Shift may be totally outside or left side. Shift means favorable condition, more production. Right side means unfavorable condition. Okay. So the same as demand function, only we change S instead of D. QS, these are the factors of the other factors affect the supply. Then supply, when we consider the shifting factors of supply, other factors beside price affect how much will supply. That means price of inputs used production of other goods, technology, suppliers' expectation, number of producers. These are the factors. So different words, they are giving different meanings. The price of related goods and services, taxes, subsidies, these all affect the demand. Okay. So now we will see when costs go up, profits go down, incentive to supply also go down. That means it shifted left. Okay. If you have the advanced technology, then it reduces number of inputs needed to produce a given supply of goods. That means cost of production is decreasing. We don't want more labor. We have good technology. So normally all costs go down, then profits go up because profit means revenue minus cost. If cost is reducing means a producer can get more profits. Okay. So other factor affecting the supplier's expectation. If suppliers expect prices to rise in the future, they may store today's supply to reap higher profits later. Normally producers do like this. You may remember during that COVID cases or tax cases, what producers did. They hide their production. When the market price is lower, what they do, they hide the production. You may remember, even milk powder packets, okay, they kept and waited till the prices goes up. Okay, but it's not a good practice. Okay, so the suppliers expect prices to rise in the future. They may store hide today's supply with aim of reaping higher profits in future. So next, number of suppliers affect the quantity supplied. More people decide to supply a good, the market supply increases. If more producers are producing, that means automatically supply increases. That means rightward shift in the supply curve. Other factor, price of related goods and services. So you may remember the opportunity cost of producing and selling any good is the foregone opportunity to produce another good. You may remember these points we discussed under the opportunity cost principle. If the price of alternative good changes, then the opportunity cost of producing that good also changes. Okay? So normally McDonald's selling hamburgers versus salads. Okay, so both get high consumer demand because they are producing more and more. And selling quantities high. Then if you consider taxes and subsidies, when taxes go up means cost go up. Profit go down. Then suppliers should reduce output while shifting the supply curve to the left. When government subsidies goes up, That means costs go down and profits go up, leading suppliers to come to the game again to increase the output. Now we will see differently or separately we discuss about the supply curve, supply schedule, factors affecting supply and all. And separately we discuss about the supply. What is supply, law of supply, factors affecting supply. Okay, so these all we discussed. Now we need to discuss the equilibrium between this demand and supply. Okay, that's also very important point to discuss. So we know what demand, what is supply. We have seen why demand and supply shift. Now it's time to say something about how buyers and sellers collectively determine the market output. So this is equilibrium. Okay. Now we will see equilibrium. The theory of supply and demand assumes that the price automatically reaches a level at which the quantity demanded equals the quantity supplied. That's very important. So at the equilibrium point, quantity demanded equals to quantity supplied. That's why we call it as market equilibrium point. Okay, then we will see supply and demand schedule together. Demand schedule, supply schedule. So here you can see one point comes where quantity demanded equals to quantity supplied. Is it clear to you all? Hello?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. If you have any questions, please ask. Okay. So that is the equilibrium point where quantity demanded equals to quantity supplied. If we draw this graphically, here you can see supply and demand curve at equilibrium prices. During the equilibrium, at the equilibrium point, the price is called as equilibrium price. The quantity is called as equilibrium quantity. Okay, so can we justify the assumptions of equilibrium? We will see what are the assumptions. So here you can see the equilibrium price and equilibrium quantity. When the price increases, quantity demanded or quantity supplied also increases, but quantity demanded decreases. You can understand clearly the diagram. See here, quantity demanded and quantity supplied. Both how they change with the change of the price. When price increases, quantity supplied also increases. When price increases, quantity demanded decreases. Okay, so these are the two basic points you should remember. So there is a surplus or excess supply. See, when the demand is, when the price is 250, the quantity demanded is 4. When the price reduces 250 to 2, quantity demanded increases to 7. Okay, when we consider 250 price time, the quantity demanded is 4, but the same price, the quantity supply is 10. That means excess or surplus supply. Okay, so when the price exceeds equilibrium price, the quantity supplied exceeds the quantity demanded. Because more price, more supply. That is law of supply. That means when the price exceeds equilibrium price, the producer tends to produce more and more. that production level called because excess supply or maybe the surplus of production. Okay? So suppliers forced to cut their prices, thereby moving closer to equilibrium because high price, high profit, more and more supply. But if it comes to the equilibrium point, both producers and suppliers are getting benefit. Okay, I think you can understand the situation. So here you can see the excess demand. See, at the point 150, quantity demanded is 10. But at the same time, quantity supply is 4 because price is reduced from 2 to 150. Then it's good for the consumers. Price is low, but it's not good for the suppliers. They are reducing the supply from 10 to 4. So then you need to understand there's an excess demand for this ice cream. Low supply, high demand. Therefore, there is a shortage. Remember, before one, it's a surplus. But now we can see it's a shortage. When the price is less than the equilibrium price, the quantity demanded exceeds the quantity supplied. There is a good rationale behind these points. So if we consider the unemployment, this is also one example of failure of equilibrium. See here, too high wages, labor supply you can observe, quantity demanded and quantity supplied, labor surplus, that means unemployment occurs. Okay, too high wages, more and more laborers are attractive. Many will come. They will just forget their jobs that have low prices and automatically they will move to the jobs with high prices. Okay, so that's why we need to remember too high wage motivates employers to work more. I mean, the number is increasing due to high wages. Then labor surplus is there. That labor surplus causes unemployment because each and every country doesn't have the space for gather the production process. Okay, so we can see how an increased demand affect the equilibrium. Let's say initial equilibrium. Let's say the weather increases the demand for ice cream. There's a very hot situation. People are demanding more and more ice cream. Okay. Then you can see new equilibrium comes as price is 250 and the quantity demanded is 10. Okay. So initial equilibrium is there. New equilibrium comes. Okay, so when you are reading these notes, please draw your notes by yourself. Then you will never forget how did you draw this. It's okay. Then if you know the concept, basically, you can understand clearly how it works. Okay, so that's why initial equilibrium is there. Then new equilibrium comes here. Then you can see how weather affects this equilibrium. Okay, it shifts the demand curve and the supply curve is same. Then the equilibrium point changes. This is the initial equilibrium and this is the new equilibrium. Hope you all can draw these diagrams now. can say how decrease in supply affect the equilibrium. Let's say first supply is S1 with the initial equilibrium, then increase in the price of sugar reduces the supply of ice cream. Another factor comes. Then supply curve shifted left, supply low, ice cream. Okay. Then the new equilibrium occurs like this. Okay. Then you can decide how it changes with the price changes. A shift in both supply and demand curve. That's also very important to understand. Okay. Then let's say supply curve also shifting and demand curve also shifting. Then what will happen? Okay. Then demand increases when the price is low. The supply increases when the price is more. Okay. So that's why accordingly we can decide the effect on quantity. So let's say both supply and demand is shifting like this. Though it just like a complex picture, it's easy for you to understand how supply shifted, demand shifted, both may occur at the same time. Let's say supply equilibrium and the demand equilibrium. Okay. So the effect of price of oil on the market for hybrid cars, real estate, staple foods, corn wheat like this, and the effect of development of cheaper and better batteries for electric cars on the market for traditional cars and gas. Okay. So let's see basically the 3 steps to analyze demand and supply equilibrium. This is there in your syllabus. What are the 3 steps? So basically you can see as the first step, deciding whether the event shift the supply curve, demand curve, or both. One question from Ravindu. Just explain again that chart. Okay, very good. I'll explain it again. This one, Ravindu?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Okay, first see 2 lines. See, this is the price of ice cream. This is the quantity of ice cream demanded. Okay. So first remember this red line. First remember the S1, blue line. This is the initial supply. This is the initial demand. And this is the initial equilibrium. Now clear, Avindu?
Yes, ma'am. Yes.
Okay. Then let's say supply shifted to the left. Okay. At that time, clearly you can see the new equilibrium comes. Here, the price is P2 and the supply is Q2. Price increases. Accordingly, the quantity supplied also increased from Q1 to Q2. Then new equilibrium comes where demand equals to supply in red one. Old one is in blue color. Now clear, Ravindu?
Yes, ma'am. Yes.
Okay. So same way we can predict this one. Supply curve again shift from S1 to S2. Then initial equilibrium is there. Then the new equilibrium comes here after shifting these curves. Okay. So basic things when you are learning these things is draw by yourself. Otherwise, if you see the notes 100 times, you will forget. But if you have, because during my study period, I just put a separate short notebook. So I used to draw everything by myself. Then only I remember the things very clearly. Otherwise, these points are difficult to remember rather than drawing the diagram. Then if you draw, you may able to understand also clearly. Okay? But very good if you have any problems also.
Thank you, madam.
Now clear?
Thank you, madam.
Okay, you're welcome. Okay, now these are the 3 steps to analyze demand and supply equilibrium. Okay, first of all, what we do, we need to decide whether this causes shifting the supply curve, demand curve, or both. Second, we should decide whether the curve shifted to the right or left. Third one, supply and demand diagrams to examine how the shift affects the equilibrium price and quantity. Okay, so here it explains on. Initial supply curves are there, initial quantity demanded, then after shifting, what is the equilibrium and quantity demanded. Okay, now I think because now continuously I think it's difficult for you to understand all, because consumer surplus and producer surplus we can start from next week onwards. Is it okay? Because now many new points you understood today, all graphs and new points, new words. Okay, then slowly please learn these all, and after finishing your tomorrow's lecture, I will give you one assignment, because you have to complete 3 evaluations. So we'll do 3 assignments. Is it okay? Students, how about your choice? So continuous assessment, it's compulsory to evaluate you by using 3 techniques. So I thought to give you an assignment, but this assignment also should be submitted online, no need to print or take printouts. Is it okay, or do you have different way of getting midterm marks? Shall we shift this to next week, or that means tomorrow, consumer surplus and producer surplus, and we'll come up with one assignment tomorrow. So normally, how many days you need to finish the assignment? Bandarani the batch rate.
Madam.
කවුද රවින්දද?
Janit.
මට නම පේන්නේ. Who is the batch rep now?
Oh, madam.
Okay. Is it okay to have 3 assignments as your midterm assessments?
Madam, assignment 3ක්ද දෙන්නේ අපිට?
assignments 3ක් කියලා කිව්වේ. එක quizzes 2යි, එක assignment එකයි. එහෙම නැත්නම් assignments 3ක් වුණත් කමක් නැහැ කියලා කිව්වා ඔයගොල්ලන්ගේ මේ කවද coordinator madam?
ඔව් madam, මේ assignment 3ක් කමක් නැහැ.
එහෙනම් අපි එහෙම කරමු නේද? මම ලබන සතියේ වුණත් assignment එකක් දීලා මේ ටික හොඳට කියවගෙන එන්න. Now we did production possibility curve and calculations, supply, demand equilibrium, supply equilibrium, factors. Okay, many points we learned today. Please learn, read this and learn and come up with questions next week. So we'll continue producer, because if you know very well about the demand and supply, it's very easy for you to understand consumer surplus and producer surplus. Okay, then shall we move this section to the next week? Or next week means tomorrow? Hello? Hello? Okay, okay. But chat box messages have been. Okay, if so, we'll continue this tomorrow at sharp 6. I'll join and we'll try our best to continue till 10. But I feel it's somewhat difficult to continue because if you answer some questions and if we discuss things, it's okay. But online doing continuously for hours seems a little difficult. So we'll finish for today and we'll start this section from tomorrow onwards. Okay, then we'll meet tomorrow by 6 p.m. Okay, good night.
Good night, madam.
Okay, good night.
Good night, madam. Thank you.
Thank you.
Recording stopped.